Hi everybody, Shaved Face here. Or I have a shaved face. Welcome back to the welcome back to the collective. I am Dale Salvador, and this is Maroon 5, Hands All Over. Now, I know a lot of people hate Maroon 5. I realize that, but this is from a time where people didn't hate Maroon 5. This is before Moves Like Jagger came out, and I think that's also part of it because at least sonically in their sound and stuff, there was Maroon 5 before, and then Moves Like Jagger came out, and then since then they were a completely different thing. And even then, that's a discussion for another day. But I don't even think they're that different, to be honest. But point is, this is from the era when people still like them, and I think it. I don't know why people. I mean, art from artist aside, like this album is really good, and I do think it's actually on par with songs about Jane. And this is in the same era as well. There are songs about Jane, then there is Won't Be Soon Before Long, and this is their third and final album before they would change, totally change their sound to the more commercial sound, etc., etc., etc. And this still has a lot of the same Maroon 5 topics on there, abusive relationships, struggling to get over exes, to get out of abusive relationships, um, all those very similar topics, worrying about your loved one, trying to get over your loved one, all this kind of stuff can be found on here, in one way or another. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, to be honest. Like, it depends on the execution, and the music side of things is excellent. You have some of Maroon 5's best ballads on here with and with How, Just a Feeling. Where is it? Never Gonna Leave This Bed, I think technically counts as a ballad. Those are all great, especially Just a Feeling and How. I think those are actually How I think is actually the best of the album, one of the best of the album. But you have these songs that talk about such topics, in a very love ballad ballad sense, and you have this really nice glossy production, which actually really benefits. And actually really fits the album cover too. And then you have tracks, like Misery or Stutter or Hands All Over, which are a lot more funky and have a lot more bass in them. And actually, if you really listen, the bass and the drum playing and what the compositions are actually really nice. Misery, if you listen close, has some really nice slap bass. Um, Give a Little More has a really nice drum groove. Don't Know Nothing also has a nice drum groove, and the really good production on the drums there too. If you, what does bother me slightly, it might just be my OCD, but if you listen really closely on I think the end of the chorus, there is a piano passage or guitar passage that sounds somewhat out of key with the rest of the song, but it's really hard to notice way in the back, so doesn't matter that much, but it's still worth noting. It sounds kind of odd. Um, Again, Never Leave This Bed is amazing. One of the more shiny, glossy um, songs of the mix, like How is. But rather than being a ballad, it's more of a explosive sound kind of thing. I Can't Lie has some nice choirs, and not choir, but like vocal harmony stuff. Hands All Over, another, again, great funky track. How, great ballad. Get Back in My Life, the breakdown is actually really good on this. Not the best, feels a tiny bit out of place, a tiny bit menacing, but still a good breakdown nonetheless. In and of itself, it's good. Um, just a Feeling, great ballad again. Runaway is also really, really good. And then you have the last track, Out of Goodbyes, with Lady Antebellum. And this one almost comes across a tiny bit country, just a little bit, just a little bit. That's mostly because the whiny, slidey guitars that might actually be lap steel. I don't know. And then you have the honestly, I've not heard a lot of male female vocal harmonies stuff, but like usually when I do, it's in a country context. So that also tends to make me think of country. And I know it's not necessarily a country thing, but it's also a very good song. Actually, a very very fitting closer as well. A very nice closer. Um, very common, kind of lets you down after the album. And I wouldn't say this album has, the best flow or a track flow or anything like that, but I don't think it's really trying to. It's just a compilation, a collection, a bunch of songs. But I honestly feel like, the worst this album does is maybe a chorus will not be as great as some other choruses, but that's about it. Like, besides tiny shortcomings, this album's pretty good. The only other thing I can say is not really great about this album is that, it's insanely catchy, it's insanely well produced, all that kind of stuff. The drums also on Runaway, if I think of the song correctly, are also good. Um, but one of the things I slightly, not sure complain about, but again, it's worth noting that the lyrics aren't always great. They're not horrible. And again, people clown on Maroon 5 lyrics, but again, like, they were worse after moves like Jagger. Beforehand, they actually had some nice substance into a lot of them, but you still get your occasional line that's kind of oddly eyebrow raising. Like, as beautiful as a song like How is, you get a line, I'm a stop patronizing me with lies, I'm a man, be a woman now, whatever that means. But besides that, honestly, like, the lyrics aren't that bad. They're not amazing, but like, if the music's good enough, which it is, lyrics don't really ruin a song. At least for me, I know there's some people that, like, if the song does not sound the best, producing wise or sonically, or if there's like a line that's a little bit weird, then the whole song is ruined for them. I don't understand that. I don't get that. But I can definitely say for sure, musicality wise, this album is really good. There is not a lot to complain about, but there is enough to note, and it's enough that it's not nitpicky. Um, I think this is a very easy, like, 8 out of 10 album. Maybe I would even say 9 probably, but like, we'll say 8, because for something to be like a 9 out of 10 means it's pretty close to a fucking masterpiece on all accounts. And I wouldn't say that, like, it is very, like, I will say it's a near perfect album for what it's doing, but it's not doing anything crazy. Like, again, there's no, crazy concepts. There's no, insane track to track bleed-ins or flows, anything like that. It's a collection of songs about bad relationships, and it's by a pop band. But I'd dare to say one of the best, pop groups, pop bands, pop rock bands. I'd even say, because their music is very, funk and R&B and soul and blues inspired sometimes, especially on the early stuff. I'd say they're probably one of the best pop rock bands, of the past, of this generation. When it comes to Maroon 5, Imagine Dragons being, pop rock, Panic at the Disco, Paramore, all these groups. I honestly would put Maroon 5 up there, at least for, this early stuff. The first 3-4 albums maybe, I would like, they are definitely good. And yeah, like, again, like, like it's not 10 out of 10, but a 9 out of 10 I feel like is too close to, like I said, it's not doing anything crazy that it would merit a 9 out of 10. Like crazy concepts, crazy album concepts or anything like that. But for what it's doing, just pop music. It has a lot of substance in the music, and the most important thing with pop music is catchy melodies. And I can say for sure, every single song on here is extremely catchy, one way or another. It's more funky songs, it's more pretty songs, it's more low key songs, but they're all great. They may not all be perfect, but they're all pretty close. That's gonna be it for me. I'm going to end this here. If you like the video, subscribe, leave a like. I try to look at music and artists that are, from whatever reason, overshadowed, underappreciated, etc., etc. I tend to dive into a lot more underground stuff, But I felt like this one was, I wanted this video because this album is very good, and people don't really talk about this era Maroon 5, let alone this album, that much. It gets really overshadowed by a lot of unnecessary hate, mostly for Adam Levine, which is very separate from this. And yeah, but usually I try to go for more. I usually try to more. I cover music. Just more. I try to cover music that needs more attention in general. So if you want to expand your music taste, you want to, hear some cool music, stick around. And that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching.